What is going on, family, my beautiful, conscious family? Soulful Brody back at it again with another video. Hope you guys are staying good. I've been off here for a while. Hope you guys can't tell, but my energy's been so low recently. I think just life hitting me and everything. Doing a lot of self-reflection. Trying to figure out what road I want to take my life in. It's exciting. It's super exciting, but it brings like a lot of stress on me, so I have to find myself throughout my day doing a lot of anti-stress activities, like going on a walk in my bare feet, or meditating more times, or doing extra. I've been getting into yoga, stretching. I've been doing bagua, which is like a form of martial arts, kind of similar to like Tai Chi stuff. I've been playing a lot of basketball. I've been trying to get my mind to de-stress it from when life hits you, because when life hits you, it's time to step up and it's time to stop being lazy, and I'm a very lazy person, so kind of just freaks me out, and it lowers my vibration a little bit, but I do what I can to maintain it. So with that being said, I hope you guys are all doing good. I just had to get that little rant off my chest, but I'm gonna get into the video now, which today I've been reading this very interesting book called The Divine Matrix, and I just want to talk about the idea that I mentioned a lot about how everything is connected, and how I feel that I am no less, no more than anything natural in this world, including this grass, these flowers, these trees, these other people, these animals, even other planets, even other things we don't know, even higher dimensional beings that we don't know yet. How we are all equal and we are one with them, because we are it. There's no separation, whether your race is different, whether you're from is different, whether you're a girl or a guy, whether you're straight, whether you're gay, whatever. There's no comparison, because we're all equal. Let me dive into this. When I say it's tough for a lot of people to understand this, because at first I understood it spiritually, and just seeing how positive vibration, positive energy affects one another, and how when you hurt some other person, you really are just hurting yourself, therefore you are that person. If that makes any sense. I know it's tough on a spiritual sense, so this book helped me out, because it gave me an avenue to explain this theory through science, which I know a lot of you guys will translate better to, because I like to think of spirit and science. There's a great YouTube channel called Spirit Science where it brings spirit and science together, which is, I like to think of it both halves of our brain, which is, the right female side might be like the spiritual side, which is like the feeling side, and the left is the male side, which is like the science. So we need like hardcore facts to prove this stuff. So basically, if you ever heard of a photon, it's basically a small, tiny microscopic particle of energy that contains light. And there's experiments done that they split this said particle and moved them very far away, a couple feet, well, very far, just like in different rooms, like whatever feet long. And they tested them by seeing how they would react to certain things, and they basically made up a little maze with pathways, and they ran this test 100 times, and every time both photon particles would go the same direction. Now sometimes they go right, sometimes they go left, but they always went to the same direction, which posed the question that even when they're not physically connected, there's still something connecting them. They're still one. And when I'm going to get into more of this, but when you think of, like, if you guys believe in like the Big Bang, or it doesn't have to be the Big Bang, but something happened at the very beginning of the universe that was a microscopic energy of light, photonic energy that expanded in a million different things. Now think of what I said with the experiment. Now if it expanded to different things, there's something connecting all of them together. Therefore, everything in the world has photons, because everything in the world has matter, and matter has photons in it, which is why we can see it on the electromagnetic spectrum, which is why, I'm in the trees right now, which is why we are all somewhat connected on that sense. Maybe you don't believe that. So let me say this. The cool thing about photons, you might say like, all right, we're not all really photons, but the funny thing is they did another test how DNA affects photons. And basically they had a whole bunch of photonic particles, and then they put a strand of DNA into this vial or whatever science stuff they're holding it in, and they all arrange themselves uniformly, meaning that DNA has an effect on photons, whether that be positive or negative. Regardless, I'm not too sure. Well, they don't know. It just uniformly, like they were all dispersed. The photon particles were dispersed, and then when they put the DNA strand in, they all unified together. Now, that hypothesis that DNA has an effect on photons has an effect on light. Now, we are made of DNA. Therefore, that's saying we have an effect on everything around us. You get what I'm saying? So when people say we have little effect on the world, well, you look at it like that. You look at it even though it's like a scientific perspective, we have every effect on the world because our DNA is affecting light itself. We are affecting the universe. Our actions, me doing this right now, is affecting the universe. And like I said, it could be positive or negative. But I think with positive actions, we affect it positively. With negative actions, we affect it negatively. It's simple. But yeah, even if that's not making sense, there another great experiment was how even when DNA is separated from us, emotions still affect it. Now this is crazy. You might call me crazy for all this stuff, but maybe you can't even follow. Maybe I'm not doing it justice, but hopefully I am. So they did another experiment. They took a sample, a swab of a guy's DNA. Again, they actually did this 350 miles away. And they hooked up this DNA to an electrical monitor, which they just said they would see spikes, they would see peaks and dips on occasions. So now on these occasions, they would show the real person who had the DNA taken from him. They would give him, pictures to spike his emotions, whether it be love, whether it be sadness, whether it be even just horniness or like shit like that. And this particle, this DNA strand, 350 miles away, would immediately peak and react at the exact time. Now that is faster than the speed of light. Now you have to think, how is this happening? Like they're separated. They're not physically together. When we look at each other, when we look at humans and everything, we are all physically separated. But there's something linking us together. And they like to call this the divine matrix, which is this invisible web across all things that is connecting us. And they might say, but that's just his DNA. But think of how many little dry skin cells when you even shake somebody's hand. Now, before they die, I realize your DNA will die on that person's hand eventually when it leaves them. But for a brief time, and say you do more than handshakes, say you're like just touching everybody, your DNA stays with them. Therefore, they're taking your energy because you are linked. Because we just found out that your DNA doesn't have to be on you to have the same effect. So it could be on somebody else, and you could have a positive effect or emotion, and they would somehow feel that. It's weird. It's crazy. It sounds crazy, but it's just something to think about. And then if you think about it that way, and if you think how everything and everybody is sharing DNA, and that DNA affects light and photons, and how everything in the world is made up of this light, then we are the universe, because we are one. My guys, we are all the same thing. We are all just in different physical forms, which is what pisses me off when how this society tries to separate us. But we are one. We are one with the animals. We are one with even insects. We are one with every goddamn thing out here. Everything. And it's amazing to think of that way, because it makes you feel special. It makes you feel like you can change. You're not just like, a lot of humans feel just like ants in the universe, and they think they have no power to change anything. But man, if everybody thought like this, how we're all one, everybody would start treating each other a lot better, and life would be better. The world would be a better place. But anyway, guys, a little bit of a diary rant in the first part of the video. But I'm going to get into more stuff about how we're all one. I know I mentioned it in like all my freaking videos. But I'm going to wrap this up, man. Soulful Brody. Once again, guys, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, please, my guys. I love anybody who supports this. But anyway, Soulful Brody, signing off. Peace.